This is Heidi Tejana from Tejana Time. And today I was thinking about the sun. And so I just thought I'd talk a little bit for a few minutes about all the ways that the sun supports us. How, the sun is really what gives life to our planet Earth, and how different it would really be if we didn't have the sun. Just think about what the sun does and how it supports life and how it supports all of the plants and the trees, supports all the animals and the humans. Look at how we revolve around, our star, the sun. And, there's a lot of talk about the sun and these different like solar flares and different CMEs that are coming off of the sun. I've seen different people talk about how, there's different ships coming out of the sun and things like that, and how it's a portal to other universes and things like that. So there's so much we don't know about the sun, right? And, if you go back into, what about our ancestors? There's indigenous people that revered the sun and, loved the sun. They would come out and, they'd have times where they would just stare at the sun. Some people, would just close their eyes and bring sun in through their third eye, which opens up the pineal and things like that. So you can connect back to source. But just with intention, you can bring in the sun's rays into your body. One of the ways that I like to do is I like to go out in the mornings and in the evenings, when the sun's not putting off such intense, UV light and infrared light and all the different things, because different times, it definitely is not good for us, and too much. But we need the sun, the sun is what charges our cells and what helps us thrive. It gets rid of, viruses and boosts our immune system. We're electric beings too. Plasma science has shown that. Lots of other different energetic, systems have shown that we are basically an electric universe, within ourselves. And, even if you just look at the heart is all based on the electricity that comes in, charges all of that. So, I used to be a paramedic for 20 years, and to shock the heart, that's what we used to get it going again. So electricity is huge, right? Just look at what lightning comes down and it charges the water and charges the cells of all of that stuff. It charges the earth, the ground, and it brings in tons of negative ions. That's lightning is pure plasma energy coming into our planet. And, going back to the sun, some things that you can do to just get out in nature and, look at the sun, whether it's during a sunset or a sunrise, is the one thing I like to do is just kind of close my eyes or sometimes just stare at the sun during those times. And I will consciously bring that energy down in, through the crown, all the way down to my feet, and I will ground it down into the earth. And then I also, like with every breath, I'm bringing in and filling up my aura all around me, bringing in all of that energy, so you can consciously bring in that energy just with intention. So that was one of the things I learned from my guides years ago, is that, everything's about intention, everything. Energy is all about intention. So we have control over that, this is a free will universe that we're in. So play with that, fill yourself up, fill up your aura and charge your cells, bring in that, the earth is also filled with tons of negative ions, which are good for our bodies, and go walk barefoot on the ground and get your feet, in the dirt, in the sand, get your hands in the, in the dirt, in the sand, and just, play with that. But, going back to the sun, I've had different conversations with it. And remember, plasma science, plasma energy has shown us that everything is conscious, right? Everything is listening. So, you might think that, the plants aren't listening, or your house isn't listening, or your car, but everything is conscious. Everything is energy. And you can trace that all the way back to lots of plasma energy and that new science that's here showing us that, we're leaving the old Newtonian ways and stepping into this plasma physics, plasma science, which is so exciting. I think I did a video on that already, but I can do another one later just to kind of refresh everybody. But we're made of this plasma energy, and, our thoughts and intentions make things physical that are all around us. And, everything is conscious and listening. And so just by, talking to different things, you can actually hear what it is that they're thinking and saying, because go out and talk to the trees. The trees are some magnificent beings that have been here for thousands of years. And, trees and plants, Mother Nature, we can learn a lot from them. There's so much intelligence that they have to teach us. And, try it out. Talk to your pets, they're telepathic too and wanting to communicate. But I digress. Going back to talking to the sun, one day I wanted to hear what you would call the sun, and I heard back that it likes to be called El Sol, is what I heard. And I was just having this different conversation with it, and it's just this very incredible, loving, powerful being is what I felt. And since then I've had a lot of different conversations, but one of the first things it said is don't be scared of me, because I give life. And that's really important for us, especially in this day and age when people are so afraid of the sun and the rays, and there's so much out there. You go to any dermatologist and they're talking about, putting on different sunblocks and different things, and to stay out of the sun. And really, we're doing ourselves a disservice, because look at what we're doing. We're putting on our skin different chemicals. And our skin is, an alive part of us, and it's absorbing all of those chemicals, all of those toxins into our body, which overloads our liver, which, can cause problems down the road. And, I know there's lots of talk out there that, it's the sun that causes skin cancer. But, I ask you to question that and say, is that really true? There wasn't anything called cancer until I believe like the 1930s. Or something like that. And what happened around that time? Do some research in there, and you'll find out that that's the age that a lot of the chemicals and different things started to come online and different things. So did we create a toxic environment? Were we using different biological and chemical things in different wars and stuff like that? What are we spraying on our foods? Why is there this whole organic movement and to, work with biodynamic farming and things like that? Whatever we're spraying on our plants and trees and stuff like that, the fruit and the vegetables that get sprayed, we're ingesting all of that. And so, I invite you to just think about that, because it's not, that great for us. So anyway, I just wanted to talk just a little bit more about the sun and how much love and really, beautiful energy that it puts out for us. And, it does put out UV lights. It also puts out infrared light. And, that infrared light is actually really, really healthy for us. And it creates a lot of negative ions. And, one thing that Dr. Gerald Pollack has found with some of his work and doing work with water and structured water and things like that is they found that there's positive and negative ions in our bodies with the different types of water that's there, because we actually have 4 stages of water that we know of. And I've actually heard that there's a 5th and a 6th stage of water, but we're taught about solid, liquid, and gas. There's actually a gel phase of water too, and that gel phase is full of negative ions. And so when you're out in the sun, when you're out walking on the ground, when you're of the earth, when you're out petting your dog or your cat or hugging, a partner or your kids or whatever it is, a friend, all of that is creating these negative ions in our body. And we actually give off infrared light. And so we're giving that to each other when we hug each other, when we're petting our pets or hugging our animals, and that's also what the sun's giving us, is this infrared energy. So very powerful, the sun. And I just invite you to, think outside the box. How can I get away with being in the sun, say for 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, and building up some sort of a tan, and then you can be out there longer. Stay out of the sun, usually from 11 to 2 as much, because it's when the sun's like the hottest. But, instead of putting on some kind of, chemicals, put on, a long sleeve shirt or a hat, and, pay attention, do things that make more sense if you really want to absorb the sun's rays and have it be good for your body, because it builds the immune system. Staying inside our houses, there's lots of toxins there. There's lots of, stagnant air. But when we get out and we move and we're in, Mother Nature, when we're receiving the sun's rays, powerful. So anyway, I've talked way much longer than I planned to. Question everything. What works for you? Stop listening to what everybody else is telling you, even myself. And that's one thing that I've done my whole life. And you might call it a rebel or whatever, but it's questioning all the things that we're taught. Question and remember, and go within, because that's where you'll find all the answers. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you next time on Tehana Time.